Dude,
Oh, what is it now, Zoltan?
JRPG news.
Oh, I could do with some JRPG news, thank you.
So could I. Good morning, everyone. This is the Dude JRPG News show. And we are a couple of dudes bringing you the JRPG news. So today we're going to do it in a turn-based fashion as we always do. And I've got 4 stories and Mel has 3 stories. Oh, by the way, I'm the host, the legendary Zoltan, and the co-host name is Mel. Hi, Mel.
Hi, Zoltan.
That's kind of relevant information, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And so, yeah, I'm going to go first because I got 4 stories and Mel got 3. And despite how light the news was, I found some fun stuff anyway. So here come my quickies. The YouTube channel. Okay, wait, I forgot the name of the channel. It's right here, though. Here it is. The YouTube channel Virtual Gaming Library -VGL. That's the whole thing. Virtual Gaming Library released the video called The PlayStation Project Compilation N, the letter N. All PS1 games, US, EU, JP. So in case you guys don't know, this is literally a freaking channel that is just like, it puts up a little gameplay video and it puts all the release dates of every game ever made on every system. And so they're up to the letter N for PlayStation 1. Not bad, right, Mel? So that's cool.
Impressive.
It is, right? Okay, this is not JRPG news at all, but I just thought I'd throw it out there because it's interesting. The currently famous Kimetsu no Yaiba anime, that Kimetsu no Yaiba freaking manga, which means a Japanese comic, the Kimetsu no Yaiba comic alone outsells the entire American comics industry in 2019 by 6 times.
So the amazing? American physical comics book industry.
I guess the physical ones, yeah.
Although I bet a lot of the manga and American comics are digital now.
They might be, yeah. People might be downloading them and reading them on their phone.
Yeah. Or their tablet. Like I hear a lot of people say they buy tablets just to read comic books on.
Just to do that, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, fuck else you gonna use a tablet for, honestly.
Yeah. Well, whether it was digital or physical is not in this article that I read, but it says that Kimetsu no Yaiba alone, which I believe in America is called Demon Slayer, sold 6 times as many units of comics as the entire American comics industry. Says a lot about the American comics industry, if you ask me.
Yeah, it all turned into movies.
Oh, I guess. Much. Well, there are still lots of comic books being made, right?
Sure, absolutely. There are still, all the stories are still happening. There are still new Batman issues.
Right. People aren't buying them, yo. I guess it's because they made the movies. Is that what you're saying?
I think just people don't read comic books even anymore, let alone regular books. They were big in the 90s. My older brother was real big into comic books in the 90s.
Yeah, I remember them having a boom of some sort back in the day.
Yeah.
A big following back in the day. Genshin Impact got a new character named Ganyu. She's really beautiful.
Oh, good.
Just what I noticed is she's beautiful. Edge of Eternity this is not actually news. I just thought I'd let you guys know. So this was one of the games that was mentioned in the previous episode, which I haven't uploaded as the time of recording this episode. It's coming up soon though, and so right after you hear that, you'll hear this, and you'll get some explanation. One of the games that was mentioned was an upcoming game called Edge of Eternity, and it's like, what the hell is that, dude? That is a Japanese indie studio making what looks like to me a fairly high budget, kind of sci-fi looking alien planet kind of setting JRPG. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It's a JRPG, but this freaking studio, Midgar Studio, is a French studio. It's a French studio making a somewhat high budget looking JRPG. Guess who they got to help them do music, yo? Freaking Yasunori Mitsuda.
Oh boy.
That's a huge one. That's Chrono Cross
Yeah.
and Xenogears guy, yo. Everybody out there.
Mm-hmm.
So
What's
that's
the name
kind
of
of
this game
amazing.
again?
I'm sorry? The name is Edge of Eternity.
Okay.
It's been in like a beta and a early access for a long while, but this year it's going to come out like as the full finished game eventually, it looks like. So that's good to hear.
Did they not do like a
Kickstarter?
I don't know when it was? No, they did like a presentation on this at what was it? Not E3 because that didn't happen this year, but
like one of those events.
Yeah, because this looks very familiar.
Developers conference or something.
Something happened. Either it was a PlayStation event or
Tokyo Game Show online.
I don't know. Anyway, this all looks very like I saw it this year.
Yeah,
like a video of it.
It
looks cool though.
It does look cool. It's a strategy RPG. It doesn't have like the grid on the map just when you walk into the area, but then when you enter battle, when you like choose to move or whatever, then you can see hexagonal grid markings on the ground. So it kind of makes it makes the hexagonal strategy RPG movement like it overlays it on top of a very naturally designed environment. At least that's how I expect that's how it turns out when you do that. So that looks really cool. And yeah, it's just amazing. And I saw a video about them recording the music, live orchestra, freaking conducted. I don't know if it's conducted by him, but they show him and the other French composer working together, listening to the music as the freaking orchestra is playing it back live to them and stuff. Looks like a pretty big deal. So that's Edge of Eternity. Freaking Eric Landon RPG is just started another crazy project that he and only he could ever possibly do, and that is the best battle system in every JRPG series. Part 1 came out, yo.
Oh my god.
Only he can do it because he's the only one who's played every JRPG. It just cracks me up every time.
What's next? Like the prettiest menu music in every
JRPG, yo. Yeah. So I watched that video, and it's pretty cool. He went over just a few series. I believe Tales was one, Fire Emblem, Shin Megami Tensei, and Valkyrie Profile were all in there. And he chose Valkyrie Profile 2 over Valkyrie Profile 1. I'm not going to spoil the whole thing.
I mean, he's getting into like, I thought maybe it would be like, okay, this series has a particular battle system, but he's going into every individual games.
So yeah, he's going into like the entire series, every battle system that's ever occurred in that series, and choosing which one is the best one.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, so like he gave freaking the best Tales battle system to Exilia 2, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Like that,
okay.
even though there are lots of Tales games, right? He said the best one is Exilia 2, in his opinion. He's one of those, it's my opinion, guys, per people. And, okay. Got to give you an update on Landale. Landale released on his YouTube channel RPG Quest number 294, Phantasy Star Online, GameCube, Part 3. You don't know what that means, do you, Mel?
RPG Quest number 294,
Phantasy Star Online for the GameCube. Do you know what it means when that comes from Landale?
No, I don't.
It means that he's played every JRPG ever released on any console before Phantasy Star Online, because he's playing them in order.
Chronological order. Okay.
In chronological order of freaking release date. And it's so hilarious, dude. On his freaking live stream, he just freaking live streams these things on Twitch and then uploads it to YouTube, okay? But on the freaking live stream, he has a timer for the amount of time he's played on the current game and the amount of time he's played since starting the first game. The timer is currently at 7,427 hours.
It's not so bad, actually.
I guess
that's not as much time as I would have imagined it would take to get all the way through the history
of
just
294 games.
Japanese RPGs, or
Yeah, just
like
no.
just JRPGs,
No,
or
I think
what?
he does RPGs. RPGs.
So
All of
the
them.
whole damn genre.
Yeah, and even handhelds
Wow.
too. I mean, the number says it. He's played 294 of them so far in order.
I get it.
Yeah. That's what the
So he
number means,
must
yeah.
be like somewhat efficient, because when you think, so it's 294, right?
Well, you look at his things. He uploads every day between 2 and 8 hours per day. So he's like coming home from work and spending all the rest of his time playing RPGs, basically, right?
So if you were to imagine that your average RPG was about 60 hours, right?
If we say that,
Times
okay.
294, that's 17,000 hours.
He
So
finished it at
he's clocking
7,000.
in at 7,000 hours,
Well, all the
right?
older games are shorter than 60, right? They're
I
going to get
guess.
it's going to
Yeah,
take
you're
longer
right.
as he keeps going on, right?
Suppose he
but
must either be familiar with them or just good at them, or they are a lot shorter than I'm imagining, I guess.
yeah, they're not all 60, right? Cuz I mean, we're talking NES era and SNES era, and Atari had like one game or something. And 3DO had like
True.
2 RPGs or something. He put all those in
Mhm.
there too. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. When you got like an average of 4 to 5 hours every day,
And you use that exclusively to do this. You don't do anything else with those hours.
it becomes
Like,
possible to do it. Yup.
oh, sure. Yeah.
Jesus
I'm just
Christ.
hung up a little on the 7,000 figure. It still feels low. I
Yeah.
don't know why. It's funny, though.
It's going to be way worse when he gets to the freaking is GameCube is the same era as PS2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's going to start some of those crazy things right now. Yeah, all the games are going to get way longer from here on out.
He's coming up on a year straight of
Of playing.
time logged.
How many
Yeah.
hours in a year, dude?
Well, he's at 291 days right now, if he said 7,000 hours.
Oh, whoa. Yeah. Yeah, 7,400
There's
hours, yeah.
only 8,760 hours in a year.
He's
So
got 1,000 more to go, and he's going to be a year of doing
yeah,
nothing. That's amazing.
that's a lot.
Yep. Okay, and last quickie, most important quickie in my opinion.
Ooh,
I
baby.
finished the Shadow Temple in Zelda Ocarina of Time. So that's where I am. So making progress.
We gotta save all the juicy discussion for later, but
Yeah.
I'm so tempted.
Right, I know, right? I'm tempted too, but no hints. No hints. But
Yeah.
that's where I am. So I'm making progress. So I just
Right.
have one more. Assuming this game is as long as it advertises itself to be, then I have to get one more medallion and then go get the Triforce and save the princess, and I'm done. We'll see if that actually turns out to be that long or not. You got a story for us, Mel?
All right. Well, we got a couple things here. I guess I'll do the one from Fumito Ueda that we missed last week. We actually found it while we were still on our call, but
After
before we hung up,
recording.
like after recording.
Yep.
There was a teaser, like a New Year's salutatory, like "Have a good New Year" from Fumito Ueda, and I think actually it's worth pointing out that a lot of Japanese studios and developers do this. There's like a Happy New Year / Happy Holidays, like greeting card type of thing.
Oh, yeah,
That they
yeah.
tend to release. It's sort of a tradition. If you go onto 84Play, their website, they tend to post all of them from like all the developers that
Oh,
they're
that's
in
cool.
business with. And it's pretty cool. You can see all the ones. They're really fun. They usually incorporate what they're working on or their mascots or whatever. So this is what this is, and it's an image that says 2021, and in every number there's an image of a game. And for those of you who are familiar with this person's work, he's the guy who made Eco and Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian.
And some other game that is encapsulated in the number 1. Holy crap!
Yeah. If you're familiar at all with how many digits are in the year 2021, that's 4.
And that's one
right.
more game than Fumito Ueda has released.
Right. So, yeah. So, there is an image of what appears to be a person on some sort of a beach-looking scene with his or her arm up against object, a rock, a big, who knows what,
a piece of
monster,
cliff or
creature.
Something. No, it's got to be
Who knows?
Well, I guess it could be something else.
You know what? It could just be something else. You know that.
It might not be a rock at all.
It very much could not be, but
all of his games so far have had companions, so probably it's another companion. Maybe
there's usually some sort of muted protagonist with some sort of equally solemn partner or whatever companion, and it very much looks in keeping. It's kind of a gray palette to the design, greenish white, somber outdoor natural environment is what it appears to be that we're in for. But that could all be a head fake. You could go in a very different direction. I don't know.
It could be an area like freaking the big shell from Metal Gear Solid 2 for all we know.
Yeah. So of course we are all curious. I'm sure that you're curious too.
Yeah, that's a fun thing that he's just done right there. Okay.
You want to go next?
Yeah, because I got 4 and you got 3.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get the bad news out of the way, you guys, because this is bad news. So here we are. So the good aspect of this news is Switch is doing really well, just worldwide. The Switch has been increasing the number of sales, not exponentially, but like the number it's been selling has been increasing every month. And so in the beginning of in February of 2019, there were 32 million Switches sold, yo. But at the end of 2020, November of 2020, we're up to nearly 70 million now. That's more than double the Switches. So that's really impressive. So I'm happy to hear that. That's great news. But why is freaking Switch outselling the PlayStation 5, the one that like had the superior hardware, more diehard fans from the beginning, more third-party games coming to it? Like, well, here's what I think the reason is. Sony's turning to crap. That's what I think the reason is. And particularly, it seems like Sony has completely given up being a Japanese company and trying to sell games to Japanese companies. And it's all started, I believe it was 2016 when it happened. I'm not looking at anything right now. I'm going off memory here. I believe it was 2016 when Sony moved their freaking headquarters from Japan to California, which is the weirdest thing I ever heard of. Why would any company be like, you know what? I'm going to move my company to another country. Like would, for example, would Kentucky Fried Chicken move their headquarters to Japan? They wouldn't, right? Why would they? So, I mean, whatever. I guess it's a different industry with different, customer base and all that. But the reason they gave back then was something along the lines of, we want to be more in touch with the international trends and things like that. So they want to know what America is up to as they make games, I guess. So that happened back in the day. And after that happened, that's when things started really going to hell from the legendary Zoltan perspective of, hey, I want to play some Japanese booby games. Because from that point on, that was when we had freaking, what was that game called? Omega Labyrinth getting freaking just from out of nowhere, like 1 or 2 months before the release, canceled from the console. Like, you know what? We're not releasing this anymore. I never found out like what happens to the studio that's making an English version of the game when they spent money making it, and then all of a sudden, you know what? You can't release that in America anymore. What happens when that happens? I don't know. That's really weird. So that happened, and one of the most popular videos on the Turn-Based Memories channel, our other channel, our non-news channel, was me was me talking about how freaking when the next Omega Labyrinth game came out, Omega Labyrinth Life, it came out on the Switch, uncensored, and then it came out on PS4 at a discount because they cut content to put it on there, and the freaking publisher actually advertised the game as censored on PS4. So that was a mind blow to me.
That's really funny.
So that happened. Then there's like some more recent stuff that happened. Like, do you remember this, Mel? Freaking Sony decided when the PS5 comes out, they're going to change the buttons in Japan as well.
Yeah.
So that the circle button is no longer the confirm button, where in Japan it has always been the confirm button, because in X in Japan, like buttons aside, it's a physical gesture that people do when they say no to something. They put an X with their hands when they do that, yo. So
a circle is usually a confirmation.
Exactly. Like whenever there's a quiz of some sort, and then you answer it, if you get it wrong, somebody holds up a picture of an X, and if you get it right, somebody will hold up a picture of a circle. It happens in every quiz ever happened in Japan, even just with their voice. Somehow. So anyway, that happened, and I heard that Japanese consumers were pretty annoyed about that. I didn't look into it myself. And I don't like that. I prefer the original. That's me personally, though. That happened. What was the other thing that happened? Oh, and then, of course, all kinds of anime games specifically are being censored left and right. And is that everything that's been happening? I think that's everything that's been happening with PlayStation 4. So basically, now, the newest news regarding PlayStation not doing well in Japan, they've discontinued all models of PlayStation 4 except for just one of them. Like, there were multiple models before, the original one, a white one, a 1 terabyte hard drive one. Then there's the PS4 Slim and the PS4 Pro and all these versions. Now, there's only one. There's just the freaking, what is it? The PS4 Slim Pro. Black one with 500 gigabytes. So it's the basic PS4 Slim.
It's not even a Pro?
It's not a Pro. It's the PlayStation 4 Slim Jet Black 500 gigabyte model.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I mean, also, I don't know. I can sit on both sides of that fence a little bit because, the next generation started and whatever. Yeah. But if they were going to go that route, why wouldn't it be the Pro version? Why would you want to buy a base PS4 today?
It makes no sense to me. Yeah. So, I mean, well, they're not, I guess they wanted to keep the cheaper one, I guess.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Switches are still selling like crazy. In Japan as well.
Crazy, yeah. I mean, I believe it in Japan especially, but there's no, outside of mobile devices, there's no handheld anymore. There's no Vita, there's no 3DS.
There is a Switch Lite.
Oh, right. So that's also a Switch, though.
But you can't put it on your TV, right? It's a handheld, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
But is that not included in these sales figures?
That is included in the Switch sales figures, yes. Yeah. So it's both of them combined, yes.
Yeah. So there's no other. It has zero competition, and even Nintendo's own, they're not doing any handhelds anymore. It's purely whatever the Switch does. Some of which is, the Switch Lite, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But it's all rolled into one, which was their grand design, and it worked out very well for them.
Yeah, it did. It did work out.
I wanted to mention real quick that Sony moving its headquarters, that's the Sony Computer Entertainment, which is a branch of Sony.
So it's just the games portion, I assume, then?
Yeah. The Computer Entertainment, which, not for nothing, that is that would be disastrous, for example, if that portion had any financial problems. Like, that is a significant portion of the overall Sony conglomeration.
I mean, isn't the games section their most profitable basketball section right now.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's something ridiculous where like a lot of their eggs are in that basket, basically. And it's kind of been that way for a long time now. But Sony, obviously, they do a whole bunch of other things. They have a movie studio. They have they make
sell TVs and
of course,
yeah,
and all sorts of other. They do audio.
Yeah.
They have a
CD players,
music label,
all kinds of things.
stuff.
Yes.
So
Yes, they
that
do.
headquarters is still in Japan, but the entertainment portion of it, the computer entertainment interactive, I think is what it used to be called. Now it's computer entertainment, whatever.
Okay.
That's now in California. So, yeah, the PlayStation business has definitely shifted in many regards away from being
a Japanese company.
The Japanese centric company. Yeah, that it was definitely well known to be.
Yep. And so Xbox, I mean, if they want to make another attempt at Japan, I guess now would be a chance to do it, but I mean,
I guess
really it seems like for now it looks like the Switch is going to be the only important console in Japan now. And back when in February 2019 when I said that there were only 30 million Switches had been sold back then it was like, what was it? It was like 80 million it was like 80 million PS4s back then. So almost triple, right? But now we're up to 70 million versus 100 or 105 million. So like the gap is closing. I don't want to say that's weird. It shouldn't be weird, but I mean, I didn't expect it to happen. I didn't think that the Switch, the whole, as a cool idea as the be portable and be a home console at the same time thing is, I didn't think it was gonna end up being this profitable and this popular. I thought it was gonna be like the Wii U again,
dominant console.
Yeah, right. I didn't think it'd become a dominant console, and it's kind of hard to say it is the dominant console of the generation because
what generation is it?
It comes out right. It comes out after No, it comes out before PS4. Like it comes out like 1 year before the generation, right?
Oh, PS4.
Before did it come out before or after PS4? I'm forgetting now.
It came out after PS4. I thought.
Okay, yeah. So if you let freaking Xbox and Sony command the generation, then it came out in the middle of the PS4 generation, and so I mean, yeah, it's always crossing the line between two
came out 2017. 2017. So it was only about 3-4 years ago. But yeah, they've always sat between generations. Nintendo has been trending in that direction. The GameCube was oddly a little ahead of its time in weird ways. Like it wasn't quite an even comparison with the PS2, and then they stepped it back, and the Wii was behind, and the Wii U is like who knows what now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been advocating that direction for a while, but I agree. I think it's also remarkable how successful they've been.
Yeah. So I guess like the reasons for me to buy PlayStation 5 are becoming less and less with every day.
I know, unless you really like Demon Souls.
Right, you gotta play Demon Souls. Yeah,
gotta pay $570
to play Demon
Souls again.
Yeah, no, I'll keep playing my Nvidia Shield old school games for now. Yeah, so that's the bad news.
Yeah.
It's what's happening to Sony.
Well, hopefully that's not a permanent change.
I guess so. I kind of instantly gave up hope. Maybe I did they're gonna like turn around, like that's gonna happen, like I don't know. Anyway, give us some better news, Mel.
All right, well, we'll give you some not bad news. It depends on how much you care about the East series.
I care about that.
You do? All right, well then, East 9 Monstrum Nox is getting a demo on the speak of the devil, the PS4. Don't give up hope
Yay!
yet, Zoltan.
I
Yeah.
still got a PS4, so it's fine. But I'm just not
All
gonna
right.
buy PS5.
I'm throwing it out the window. No.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's going to be in the West. So I imagine on the Japanese PlayStation Store, then that means it's already out. Um, there is a demo already out
Yeah,
in
it's
the
out already.
West, so in the US. So this game will be coming out on PS4 February 2nd in North America, and the 12th in Europe. And it'll actually be coming to Steam sometime later this year. So if you're a big East fan,
I'm
a
seriously
big
tempted.
Falcom fan,
Yeah. Oh, dude, there's lots of reasons to like them, and I just haven't played them all. Is all it is.
I know. I feel like they're the most like underplayed best developer in my repertoire as well.
Yeah, probably same here. Yeah. They got the Trails series going on now, and East's finally becoming a huge deal, even though it's been around since like the first video game ever. Okay, it's my turn now. I said the bad news. Oh, okay. Best news ever, you guys. Oh my God.
Go.
This is amazing. This is one of those things where many years later, somebody finds a brand new secret that nobody else found. This is for Nier Automata. Automata. I don't know what the correct pronunciation of that word is. Do you, Mel?
I always, before this game came out, I always
Automata,
say
right?
Automata. But then everyone
Yeah.
was like, no, it's Automata. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're wrong.
Okay, I'm going to go with
I never bothered to correct anyone.
Did you ever bother to look it up? I never did.
I mean, it's a little tricky to look up pronunciation sometime because it can flop around. But
Okay.
whatever, say whatever you want.
I'm going to go with Automata. So, in Nier Automata Pia, there's been a new freaking secret found. And this is crazy. How did they find it? No freaking idea. But here it goes. Where did I write down how to do it? Here it is. Okay. So the freaking YouTuber Lance McDonald, that's a fun name. He found this thing. Once you beat the prologue boss, Marks. I don't know anything about this. I haven't played the game. Once you beat the prologue boss, Marks, and speak to 9S, you need to stand between some barrels. Then you can pause the game. You don't have to pause, but it's easier if you pause it. And this is how you do it in the PS4 version. Pause the game while standing between those barrels. Hold down the R2 button, and then press up, down, up, right, left, square, circle, triangle, cross. And if you do that, you'll be taken to the post-credits scene. Like, as in the credits after you beat the game. And you'll also... Here it is. You'll also unlock a chapter select option. You'll also unlock the in-game trophy store. And you'll also unlock debugging tools.
What?
Yeah. Now, I don't know about the debugging tools, but it says in the very next sentence, you'd typically have to complete the game 3 times to access those, referring to all of the previous.
Okay.
So I guess the debugging tools were also available if you just beat the game 3 times, but you don't have to beat the game 3 times. You could just beat the first boss and then do whatever you want, apparently. And freaking...
I'm curious, like, what ending... I guess there is a video of it.
There is a video of it.
Yeah. But this is a game that has, like, a shit ton of different endings, and some of them are really early. Like, there's a couple ways that you can end the game within a couple hours.
What game is this?
Something. This game.
Nier. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It has like a lot of multiple different endings, some of which you can only access on subsequent playthroughs. Like a New Game Plus, like you'll only be able to, you'll only have an item in your inventory that lets you do whatever the hell. Like it's stuff like that. And one of them is like you can choose not to do a thing or something like that, and it sends you to the ending, like credits, I'm a little interested into like what ending does it give you, or does it not give you an ending? Is it like literally just credits?
It says post. It takes you to the post-credit scene, and I don't know. I watched the video, and it just like it instantly takes you to a scene where it's like, do you have something to say to people who are having trouble completing the mission, and then you choose yes, you have something to say, or no, you don't have anything to say. And I guess choosing one of those will all of a sudden let you access the store and the debugging and all that.
There is,
Mm.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Lance McDonald himself, he tweeted a video of him doing it, and he said, "I found a cheat in Nier Automata that allows you to skip to the last ending. Okay, the last ending, whatever that is, immediately after killing the first boss and unlock the bonus modes. I'll do a full video soon. It's not a glitch. It's an actual cheat code hard-coded into the engine at Yokotaro." And Yokotaro freaking tweeted, what do you call? Quoted that tweet or retweeted that tweet
Retweeted.
and wrote as a comment, ... 3 years, 10 months. So that's how long it took for somebody to find his thing.
That's adorable.
Yep.
That's
epic.
Really funny. I love that. 3 years and 10. Wow, that game's been out for 3 fucking years. Jesus.
Almost 4. Yep.
Oh my god.
So that's my turn.
I'll follow that up quickly. There was a similar cheat. Well, not actually that similar, but a cheat that was found, a code that was found in Skies of Arcadia, which is a game that's on your list to play at some point.
Oh yeah, I'll play
for our
it.
Turn-Based Memories channel. Basically all it does is the main character, whose name is Vice, he has a little eye patch that is, it's weird. It's a little glass eye patch that he can see through that magnifies his vision.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
It's such a weird anime thing. Anyway, he wears this little eye patch, and if you're in the middle of combat, like a combat, whatever, you can press a certain button combo that removes the eye patch. It just boop disappears, and then he makes a little noise, like a little whoo, like noise like that.
Like he's relieved to take it off or something,
or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. And it's just a little Easter egg that was found years and years after that game came out.
Awesome.
And I tried it out, and it sure enough works.
That's cool. Yeah. I remember back in Mega Man 2 for the NES, if you held like the A button or the right and the A button or something, when it shows like the next boss, I forgot how the song goes, but it always shows like the boss that you chose. Like I chose to fight Airman, and then then it shows Airman on the screen, and I can't remember the song anymore, but there's like stars flying by behind him. But if you hold like right and A or something, they turn into birds instead of stars.
So it's just that.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That during that scene.
That's funny.
Yeah. And I know in a fairly recent episode, we also mentioned how Cadmoni and some people he works with found that crazy Xenogears debug menu.
Right, yes.
And now, freaking Cadmoni and some other guy are working on how to get the character General Leo from FF6 like into your party through glitches and stuff. And it looks like they might have found something, so I'll let you know when I have concrete evidence and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. And you have you have another story. You played something neat.
Played something neat, boys and girls. I played. Well, I know we were getting into Xenogears, but the Steam sale was on, so I had to buy something before it was over. Legally,
of course you did.
Had to do it. And what could I say if there was a game out there that was like real high production value with turn-based combat that was really cool?
And it was cheap? Yeah, I guess you'd have to buy it.
And it was $40, $50 or whatever, but it was
okay. It wasn't cheap.
It was Yakuza, bro. Come on.
Oh,
it was. Yeah. So I started up Yakuza Like a Dragon. I'll probably be putting it down soon to get into Xenogears. But yes, this game is.
Is it amazing?
It is way more of an RPG than I realized. I thought it was just taking the Yakuza series in like a turn-based direction as like a fun change.
Yeah.
But it's actually attempting to be like a fantasy RPG.
But
It's really cool. It even has like dungeons.
Huh. It has dungeons?
Yeah.
What
It
kind of
has
dungeons? Are they
like
office buildings or?
there's pretty much.
Okay, office building dungeons.
Yeah. So they're separate from the overworld that you run around on. And it's got items that do all sorts. There's status effects that there weren't in the original games. Character levels that work the way you imagine, and it's all because, and they, again, I didn't realize this. They say it by name. The main character says, "Oh, whenever I'm in a fight working, because he's a member of the Yakuza."
Yeah.
He's like, whenever I'm in a fight, I just imagine I'm playing Dragon Quest.
He just
He
said it
just
like
says
that?
that.
Whoa.
And what someone else he's with is like, "That's weird, dude." And he's like, "Nah, come on, it's like real fun. I just like pretend I'm a hero and all this other stuff." And it's a really cool conceit for like why everything's turn based and how it's because that's just the way he's viewing it.
Right. And so he's not actually wearing armor on the streets of Tokyo, but
Nah.
but it looks like he is because he imagines that he is. Is that a thing?
Well, it doesn't actually look like he is, although there is DLC you can get that makes him wear literal armor. He's wearing like Yakuza fucking thug,
Okay.
big loud suit.
I see. Cuz I saw some like video where he's just fully wearing armor on the street. And I'm like,
Yeah, you can
"What?"
do that. You can either it's DLC or something that you can unlock, but there are treasure chests around that you can open. And there are NPCs with little side quests and the Yakuza usual Yakuza minigames and whatever, but it is very much direct nod to Dragon Quest, and when someone joins your party, it does that little like musical tune. It's like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, and it's like so and
Nice.
so join the party, and they like bow or whatever.
Oh, awesome.
It's
Oh
so
man.
good. It is literally Dragon Quest, but in like 2019
Tokyo.
fictitious urban setting, because I think they're not real cities, right? They're not actually Tokyo. It's
Oh, is it? Oh, that's right.
other Kamurocho, right? And
Kamurocho.
Yokohama. That's not a real place, right? Yokohama. That's not a real place.
Yokohama?
Is that a real place?
That's a real place, yo. That's a famous place.
Okay. All right. Okay. I don't fucking know.
That's fine. Yeah,
All
I
right.
think Kamurocho is probably a real place too. Then.
Is it?
I mean,
Okay.
I don't
Then
know
I
it.
must be.
I mean, it's got the word "cho" in it, so that means it's not even an entire city. It's like a part of a city or something.
Got it.
So,
I
but
think I'm
Yokohama's a
mixing this up.
huge, famous city with a freaking Ferris wheel and everything.
Yeah. All right. So you do spend a good amount of time there. But at any rate, just wanted to mention that game is as cool as we both assumed it would be.
Oh man, I want to play it.
I know. All right, let's get on to your next story before we gush all about that game.
Yeah. Before you guys, I haven't played it. It just looks cool.
Yeah, we could go on forever.
Yeah, we could. Okay. Last story today. There's a freaking awesome book coming out. At least I think it's going to be awesome. It's called Iwata Asks.
Well, it's called Ask Iwata.
I got it mixed up. You're right. It's called Ask Iwata. You're right. The book is called Ask Iwata. But and what this is, it's a collection of interviews that Satoru Iwata, the late CEO of Nintendo back in the day, when he was there and he was CEO, he was freaking interviewing all the different teams that work there work on different games for Nintendo consoles. And so I had no idea, like, well, who's gonna be in that book? Whose interviews are gonna be in there? Dude, freaking the Fire Emblem Fates team is in there. Freaking Xenoblade Chronicles X team is in there. Freaking Tetsuya Takahashi just one-on-one with freaking Satoru Iwata talking about Xenoblade Chronicles for the 3DS. The Majora's Mask 3D team. Those guys are all in there. There are like several. There's at least one with just him and Shigeru Miyamoto talking about stuff. Probably multiple Zelda interviews, multiple what is this? Mario game interviews, I imagine, are in there. There's some Pokemon. There are multiple Pokemon interviews in there, and even some. So the thing is, I'm saying they're in there. I don't know which ones are in there. These are the ones that are on the Nintendo website where they just put out a bunch of interviews that he did just in text format on the freaking Nintendo.com website. iwataasks.nintendo.com.
And you hadn't heard about these until you heard about the book.
Right, until today. So my mind is getting kind of blown. So there's some stuff that I haven't read any of them yet, of course, but there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that I could imagine being extremely, extremely interesting. For example, if he didn't just talk about games, yo. Let me go down here at the bottom. There's where did it go? Right here. There's one where he talks to the team that made the Wii console about the Wii console. There's one where he talks to the guys who made the Wii remote about the Wii remote. There's one where he talks to the guys who made the Miiverse. There's one where he talks to the Super Mario Galaxy sound team. Is in there. Dude, this has got to be. I mean, just when you read, when you just hear the sound of me saying, it's the CEO of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, talking to the people that made all these things. It sounds like the most interesting thing in the whole wide world. I hope that all of these are in the book. It's 10 years of interviews, yo.
Yeah, he did these when we looked up, because I had read a couple of these, not all of them, certainly not all of them, because when they came out, I was like, wow, these are really cool. And when he died, I was like, no one's ever going to do that again.
Yeah,
that was definitely a thing that was his type of personality, and his engagement with this company was so unique. There was just no one else to pick up that mantle. And when I looked at some of these, it was really, there's a gold mine of little anecdotes and whatever in there, and it would be really cool. I would love if they were all compiled into this book.
Yeah,
I'll definitely be looking out for this book. That would be something I would want for sure.
Yeah. So this book is being put out by a company called Viz Media. I had never heard of it before. And it's coming out on April 13th. And it's going to be on Amazon, but only on the UK version of Amazon, but whatever. I mean, you can still get it shipped to you, I imagine. The Book Depository, and that's bookdepository.com and waterstones.com. I'm not familiar with most of those other two websites. But anyway, that's where you can buy it. It's $30 in American dollars. Mm-hmm. And I'm dying to buy it, and I can't wait. Did you know
these were really special. Go ahead.
Were they special? You read a couple of them, you said, right?
I did, yeah. They were just really nice because it was one of the first moments where people had a casual acknowledgement of the development of a game. At Nintendo is always so closed door magic, you maybe get a promotional interview about here's a game we're making and here's what you, the player, are gonna do.
Yeah.
And not here's what I, the developer, feel about this thing I did, this work I created, or these challenges we had, or maybe once or twice you get a deeper interview from a publication, but this was all in-house Nintendo talking to other Nintendo people and some of their third-party partners about some inside baseball stuff, and it was really cool.
I bet that Xenoblade Chronicles X one is just amazing. I'm looking at the picture that's accompanying the article, and it looks like freaking Tetsuya Takahashi himself is there with them, which I would expect, with 4 other guys, and they're all going to talk to Satoru Iwata about making Xenoblade Chronicles X, which I haven't played, but it's considered by most to be the worst Xenoblade Chronicles game. But then there's this large group of people who love it and will like be like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
it's the greatest open world game ever made. What are you talking about?
I've heard the same thing.
Right?
Yeah.
So like it's I'm just dying to hear what, and freaking Tetsuya Takahashi is now kind of known for like he's kind of the dream game designer, like not just for RPGs but for any company. Because you know how talking about how crunch and frowning on crunch in the game industry is kind of a thing now, but he all this time has not been doing that, and his whole philosophy has always been, don't do any overtime, and be as creative as you want. Like those are like his two main philosophies: be as creative as you want, don't do overtime. It's like the two best things ever for an artist.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. So, and then he makes those amazing games. Man, that's an awesome success story. So, I kind of think of the relationship that Satoru Iwata has with Nintendo, kind of how now Hidetaka Miyazaki has with From Software, where both of them started as just programmers. Freaking Satoru Iwata was like, freaking, like, wasn't it all thanks to him that we got the English version of, was it Earthbound and also Dragon Quest?
He did some crazy work on one of the Pokemon games too, I thought.
Yeah.
Like fitting something in somewhere. Like it's all mixing up in my mind. But he worked at didn't he work at HAL for a good
HAL
long
Laboratories?
while?
Yeah, maybe he
which
did.
is technically not owned by Nintendo. And then he moved over to Nintendo, and all that other stuff happened from there. But yeah, he was, wrist deep in the process. He was hands-on developing video games, designing them, coding them, the whole thing. And
then he got promoted.
He fucking super duper got promoted. I mean, I guess the original CEO, not the original, but the one at the time, Hiroshi Yamauchi, was looking for someone who, was well-rounded enough and had the drive and the managerial competency. But you could tell, because Yamauchi he didn't play games. He didn't care about games. He was a businessman. It's kind of the person they have now. He's kind of a business guy.
Yeah, I never hear anything about that guy, whoever it is.
Yeah, I don't even remember his friggin' name.
Something?
I couldn't even tell you what his name is anymore.
Yeah,
it went out of my head. But anyway, that's kind of the guy they have now, and that's kind of the guy they had back when the NES and Famicom launched. And it was like kind of this really great find that they were able to get someone who is all about, he was the Walt Disney figure for Nintendo that they kind of needed at that moment. And I'm sure, his tenure wasn't perfect. Like, he came up with the Wii U. It's not a grand slam right there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, I remember when there were some big mistakes made, and everybody was pissed off at Satoru Iwata for a while.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, they should get rid of him." I remember that being said a lot, actually. And whether that was hyperbole or not, that was the tenor. Was like, maybe this guy's not cut out. Maybe he doesn't actually know. He's taking the company in weird direction. It doesn't make any damn sense. But he presided over the Switch too. That was also part of his idea.
Yeah.
And his to his credit. So, I think the Wii U was just a trial run for the Switch, and we can go on about that more later. But, these Iwata-esque things are really, really historically important, I think. Like, they're not the most in-depth and, they're not journalism, but they are a deeper peek into some processes at Nintendo than we have gotten still. And they're really fun to see, especially now that Iwata is passed. These are probably the best insights we're ever going to get about his later years. Unless some other book comes out about him that I'm not aware of, or someone who knew him real well or whatever, but that may do happen. But it's always been something that I've been a little concerned about at Nintendo, is that everyone there is so focused on staying on brand and on message that no one talks off script, that no one tells us about what goes on at that company for the people who work there and the people who make these things.
Yeah.
It's almost hard to believe it, but Shigeru Miyamoto is a programmer. It's like
Yeah.
you can't imagine that guy at a computer programming a video game,
Yeah, he kind of
but he
can't.
does.
Yeah.
It's like he knows how these games work, or at least the ones he worked on, right? I don't know about now. He's more of a manager now, but I'm sure he has a good idea still. But that's so behind the closed door that it's like hard to imagine him as a developer making games and not like some, you know,
Mascot kind of
artistic,
dude.
yeah, guy who's like, I'm the guy who tells everyone what Mario should do next.
Yeah.
And not I'm the guy who like thought long and hard about how a game should be designed from like the ground up. And they just don't talk about those details very much. And I would hope one day before they all retire, that they do, that they open up and they just say, "Hey, here's what this was all about," because I think that's really, really historically significant. These are like the first guys. Like these are like imagine being alive when movies like were new. That's who these guys are.
I suppose you're right. Yeah.
And it's crazy that we don't have more from them.
That reminds me of a story that I was gonna do and forgot. Nintendo, like, just recently, secretly, sort of, just not telling anyone, delisted well over 100 WiiWare games from their shop, yo.
I didn't even know those were still on sale.
They were.
Wow.
Yeah, on whichever
on
shop.
Sale, it must have been on the Wii U because the Wii doesn't connect to the eShop anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't. I remember when that happened. And then Switch probably doesn't have WiiWare games, so I guess it was for the Wii U.
It was just the Wii. The Wii U had like a Wii mode that you could boot. But yeah, so yeah, you want to make sure that these things aren't lost. Like those games, a lot of what Nintendo does is just very secretive.
Yep. Okay, that was a fun talk. Wasn't that a cool topic?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what this book is all about, and I makes me want to go read those Iwata Asks. They're still up there on Nintendo's site.
Yes, they are still there. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wait for the physical book because I prefer.
Yeah, it's probably.
It sounds weird coming from me who doesn't read a lot of books, but I prefer physical ones than reading them on the internet.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you everyone for listening. This has been Dude JRPG News, and the main purpose of this channel, aside from the ulterior motive of this channel, aside from giving you the news about JRPGs, is also to let you know that we have another channel called Turn-Based Memories, where we make much more difficult, effort-intensive videos. And the last ones that came up were my... Oh, that's right. Let me just click on it and check real quick. Sorry, we're doing it live here today. So yeah, the last videos that we put up there are, that's right, the top 10 best JRPGs according to 21 scientific studies.
Yes,
that's a really good video. I spent
a very good one.
Like 16 hours editing it. It's an 11-minute video that I spent 16 hours editing, guys. Go watch it just because you heard that I spent that long. And before that was Code Vein, Result Screen. Result Screen being the name of Mel's new series where he just does a quick review of a game, but it's not just a review. Well, explain it yourself, the premise of the Result Screen.
Well, the whole idea is to take a look at a game's intention and see what it was trying to do, and then evaluate it on how it met that potential, and what the ultimate result is, even if it didn't meet that potential.
That is in like, when I hear that, I just want to say that's kind of like the objective review right there, is it not?
Part of it. I mean, the end portion, the third portion there is pretty much just my opinion of how it all came together. It's also partly my opinion what the intent was. I mean, I'm not contacting the developer and say, what did you want to do? I'm using my best educated, to some degree, a charitable look at what the game is doing and saying, well, they're clearly trying to do this, and they clearly want you to, this is the aim here, is what I call it in the video. And, how accurate is that aim, and then what is the overall impact of that aim? Those are the 3 sections I break it out into. But yeah, they're definitely objective attempts, but it's all couched in subjectivity to a degree.
Cool. So those are the latest 2 videos that are on that channel, and the main show of Turn-Based Memories is actually a podcast, the Turn-Based Memories podcast, where for the next episode, once I've finished The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, we'll have that episode, which is the premise is that Mel has been a fan of this game since way back in the day, and I'm just playing it for the first time. Let's compare experiences. That's how that goes. And did I miss anything, Mel?
No, I think we got it.
Cool. Everyone, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Good night.
Bye.